All right, welcome to the channel again. Today I am going to make up my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday recap videos all into one. And it's going to be a little bit exciting on Wednesday and then really exciting if you like watching someone get their ass kicked on Thursday. And then Friday actually was just pretty much a lot of regret. So we'll kick it off with Wednesday. If you remember last week on Tuesday, I basically went through all these trades and basically didn't really do great, and I had kind of a bigger loss early in the week. So on Wednesday, came into the session, got up, did my workout, cold plunged, was ready to go, had my coffee, and was very focused. Kind of in the overnight session, I did catch this rising wedge. I caught it when it broke down, but I obviously did not catch it soon enough. I should have entered kind of as soon as this candle broke through, and when this candle started to drop lower, I should have caught on, but I didn't. So instead, I waited till the candle crossed the 9 EMA, which is that orange line, and it bounced off. Had already bounced off this supply, so I thought, well, this looks like an ideal place to short. We've rejected kind of right here, and I could have kind of gotten that earlier. This hammer candle was a little bit concerning though. That hammer candle indicates, hey, we're about to have, upward pressure. We can't, that wick is saying we tried to go lower, but we couldn't. And so I got in here, and my kind of stop loss was above this wick, and my target was down here at 38.49. So it was really about a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And I don't really care for that as much, but it is what it is. So I was in the trade, and this trade basically ended with a small gain, but it was fine, right? Again, my stop loss, or my target stop was 38.49. I think I watched this come down, and I think I actually moved, or it didn't hit. I don't remember offhand, but anyway, still ended up with 38.51.75 down to about not very much below that. So I could have gotten, probably 3 points out of it, maybe 2.5, but it definitely was not. Once this kind of turned back to the upside, I was out. So then the trading day actually comes, first trade of the session, because I don't remember if this was pre-market or if this was before I went to bed late at night. So first trade of the session. So we are bouncing, coming into this supply zone, and we kind of consolidated right here, came back out of the supply zone. So probably should have taken it short here, would have been kind of the strategy, but I did not, and I waited. I expected kind of once we got up here, we kind of came all the way up to here and then came back down. And on the way back down, I was like, all right, it's time to get in. We're looking for kind of a short scalp. So got in at 38.72.75, set my stop loss above that higher wick, which is outside this zone. And then 38.62 was the target. So if we get back down to kind of where that pressure, upward pressure was right here, and I would, if this moves down, I might move my target down back to this demand zone. But we had some pretty good kind of just pressure and support right there. So didn't do that. I did move my stop loss down to the bottom of the supply zone, and then started to move my target as well, but news in 15 minutes. So I just ended up taking the profit right there. And that was about 38.63. So it was basically about where my profit target was. I think I pulled my target down to the, I think this should say, yes, I moved my stop loss down to the bottom of the supply zone. So here, and then I started to move my target down as well. But then there was some significant news coming, so I just stuck it out. This next one, I'm going to zoom out just a tad. This next one was definitely interesting. Big hammer candle. So kind of down here, you can see this hammer candle. We came down to the demand zone. We went all the way down to here, which is huge wick, is just a huge sign of upward buying pressure and buying power. So we got in basically when that candle closed, we got in kind of basically at the start of that next candle at 38.47, and we were bouncing off a demand zone. So should have just left it there, and I put my stop loss at the bottom of that wick, which probably was not the best choice. I don't actually remember for sure, but I did get stopped out at the top of the demand zone. So as this started going up, I moved my stop up to the top of the demand zone to avoid more loss, just cutting the losses short. So a small loss there. Next trade, basically, you can see we bounced off this demand zone. Had I just been patient and held, it would have been fine. And so I think that is one of the lessons of today, or Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and every day I've traded, is I'm not being nearly patient enough, that I need to just kind of almost walk away from the computer and let it go. So had I just kept this buy and just ridden it out and left my stop loss. If I would have left my stop loss here, I would have indeed got stopped out here, so that wouldn't have been good. But if I would have had my stop loss maybe below this candle or even at the bottom of that demand zone, that would have been a pretty easy win. And this was, what was my entry? 38.47, and this was already 38.61. So we're already talking, 13, 14 points in there. So that was kind of a big miss, and so I ended up getting in here, and I got impatient. I even said it, probably impatient, 2-point winner, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to buy and sell on 2-point winners unless it's a large position and it's just very quick. But even then, I'm shooting for at least 5 points. So, and I'm hoping for more like 10. So that one was kind of there. Next one. We had a bull flag on the 1-minute chart. There was a comment in Discord about this. So the bull flag is basically up, and then there is a flag. You can think of this as the flag post, and this is the flag. Basically what we expect to happen is flag, over, and then up. Try to catch up, and basically if you did the opposite of what I did, you would be successful. So I basically top ticked the peak, thinking we were on our way up, and then got stopped out right here. And I wondered to myself, maybe I'm just not setting stops correctly. And it seems bad in hindsight, given we're bumping into a supply zone for ES right now, which is not on this particular chart. But that kind of makes it seem like, why would I ever long when we're coming into a known supply zone? So that basically this is just a bad setup. And I top ticked it and bottom ticked it. So super stellar. Next trade, I got in a bit early. So all three of the MACD 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour were above, and 15-minute crossed in the candle that I bought. So I've seen that as a sign, and this is me playing around with different strategies. And I basically got in here, and you can see kind of all the upswing, all the averages are swinging up. And I don't have the bottom where you can actually see the MACD chart, but that is what's happening. And so I got in here and rode this out. I had my stop loss, I believe, set below this zone, which is we clearly were flying through. I think maybe I set my stop loss between this double bottom. That would have made more sense. I'm not sure why I didn't write that down. But I sold, given a Discord comment off of a person who's been right a lot, that was like, hey, I would take profit here. So I indeed took profit here. Without the comment, I probably would have ridden this up into 38.88, which is where there was a big seller. And then basically that big seller got taken out, and we started basically continuing the rise up. And you can see the continued rise. We kind of go right through the next supply zone, and then we start to level out. I don't know if the next picture. Yep. So that is, and this was my hypothesis at this point, was that we were going to retrace to 38.67 based on the fib sequence. So back down to about here, because this was this nice up, and it looked like we kind of double topped right here. And then I figured we'd pop to about 39.04, and 39.05 was already a key level. So this made a lot of sense to me, but I just put this in here as a hypothesis. And I hope I actually posted a picture of what happened. So this is that top. I basically said I need to wait for a red candle before getting in a fib, I think. So I kind of basically took a short right here, hoping to catch it back down to the 50, which probably is not the right play. I need to wait for it to already get to the 50 and then take it back up. And so that was basically the same thing that happened here, trying to catch the 0 to 50% retracement, but I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to work. So that one was kind of great. And then I just ended up killing the trade for half a point, which is not a trade I want to take because it basically is me paying commissions and not making any money. Next trade, so you can kind of see this is what happened. We did not retrace back down to 50%, and we did not pop back to 39.05, at least not yet. So we're at the top of the 11-day trading range. I was shorting. There was a deadly cross on ES and the NASDAQ for the MACD, which is basically the blue line coming back down over the yellow line. Need to be super patient with this one as it could be a day or more, and also concerned in hindsight, there's news in an hour that was supposed to be pretty impactful. And then based on some of someone else's comments about ranges, so I moved my profit target to where the volume was at 38.69. So you can kind of see 38. This actually shows, 38.69 is right about here. So you can see there's more volume here. So I moved my profit target to there and we'll reevaluate. And basically I'm out. I bounced off the resistance level and I should have sold, was hoping. So that's an emotion. It would drop more, 5.5 point profit. So here you can see, did I not put a picture in of that? So here's the short. And it looks like I was waiting for, that's weird, I did not post the picture. So this is the up, the two red candles. Yeah, it's not even on this picture. That's very strange. So 5.5 point profit off that trade. Next trade, it is hard for me sometimes when I'm in the middle of trades and I'm like, okay, there's another trade, which I'm going to slow way down on that. Anyway, next trade, basically fib sequence. Trying it out so you can see we came from, here is the start of that. Where's our 0? We went from here to here. And so I'm waiting for that. Here's the start down to the bottom, and I'm waiting for it to retrace to 50. So is it going to come back down and hit 23.6? Saw some reversal at the top and bought just below the 50%. Stopped above the high green candle right there. You can see the stop, target 0 at 5-point profit. I moved the stop to break even. And so then you can see what happened. I basically got in here, and when it got close to 0 and started pushing back up, I just took the profit. Interesting note, the 1-minute chart hit the 23.6 almost exactly as shown below. So here's the start, down to the bottom. We came back up to above 50, and then we came back down, we came back up, and you can see I believe I ticked out here. If I had just been a little more patient, I could have ticked out below the 23.6, which is pretty much where the bodies of those candles actually were. And then finally, the next trade, I was watching the fib. It went almost all the way back up and started down. Got in on the target shown in the picture. Also lots of sellers with the DOM with big blocks just above this. And basically I was patient, was holding out for my much lower stop, moved to break even, and I stopped out. So that was kind of Wednesday, which was an okay day for trading. I think probably there's a couple trades in there that I just would never take again. So definitely learning from that. I'm going to pull up the results now for that day. So the results for that, I was up $126.85 on the day. So I felt like at the end of the day, I had traded that fairly well and was more patient than I had been kind of on that big day prior where I had lost quite a bit. So the next day, I apparently essentially lost my mind and forgot all the things that I had learned and had my worst day ever. So basically, it was a MACD signal this morning. I wasn't at my computer yet, which is really unfortunate. The 1 hour and 4 hour also the under, so this was a short signal and looks like I missed a good move. So you can kind of see right here, you get into the short 38.77, and then basically down we went from 38.77 all the way to 38.28-ish. So 50-point move that had I been on my computer, I probably would have seen. Super unfortunate. Let me zoom in a little bit. So first trade of the day, it looked like we were going to run back up to 38.50, but I top ticked it. Awesomeness. Didn't really top tick it, but top enough caught the top, and I look at this now and I go, well, this looks like a fib down to here, start retracing, and then on our way down. So I had a fib chart drawn, it hit 50%, but I didn't think it was heading back down. Again, don't think I need to react instead of thinking about what it might do or thinking about what I want it to do. I just need to react to what the market gives me. And then, of course, it ripped to 38.53 right after I stopped out. So that was not a very fun way to start the day. I was watching the fib and ES, and the ES looked heavy, so I took a short. I shorted right here, which is an awesome place to short. 1 minute wick. This is a 1 minute chart. Wicks on the top were just showing lots of downward pressure, or so I thought. And let's see what happened. Out for a small profit, basically here. I should have taken the profit here when we kind of had this double bottom. I should not have waited. Green candles hit, and they had some aggression to them. So that was good. Looked for very quick upside here, but the market started back down. I should have just taken my profit when it was up here and caught the 5-point swing ish. So again, still not doing bad, right? Profit, profit, profit. Started the day off fairly well. None of these trades are really making a lot of sense, though, to be honest. Entering based on fib movement. Movement basically seems stuck at 38.30, so couldn't really get above here. And I'm out. Not a good entry. We're in a very tight range. I probably just need to sit on my hands. So I got in here, and look where I got out here. Awesome. Top tick, bottom tick. That is not how you're supposed to trade. Very poorly done, Brian. Next one, basically ended up buying at the bottom of this candle. So you can see what's the movement pattern here. Where are we heading? I'm going to buy here, and I think we're not coming back above here. And probably we're heading down to 38.20. We do start heading down. I was in for basically along at what was the bounce, but got out due to Discord from somebody saying looking like it's heading down. So here was where I was long, and I got out here, so that kind of sucked. And I need to trust myself more and ignore everyone else, even if they are amazing. Take their advice outside of the trading window and then go on what I'm seeing and react to it in the market. And I should have let my stop sit because would have been right back up to here. And then, of course, I bought back in. I actually bought this one, and then when this dropped, I took a long and went up, but I got shorted out here. So, I longed in again here. This is my buy. This is my out. This was my buy. This is my out. So I'm doing really awesome negatively. If I was trying to lose as much money as possible, this is definitely one way to do it. So in, out, and then back in right here. And I just out. I should have just exited when this hit the green zone, which is basically now a supply zone. Used to be a demand zone, but it's now coming back up and bumping into the bottom of that zone. And I should have known better. And so instead, I watched this candle come all the way back down instead of just taking a quick 6-7 points. Trying to scalp the range right now from the low. Seriously, what the fuck am I doing? I'm catching a falling knife. Basically, the market was just dropping. And apparently, I haven't learned that lesson yet. I should be shorting from the top of the range, and that's it. When the trend is down based on what I know. Trading 2 micro, looking for a 4 to 5 point drop, which is probably also a bad plan. Should have just stuck to 1 or just should have called it a day. And basically got in, and here's the 5 minute. So I'm here and then stopped out, but at least I traded my own thoughts. So that part was good. I did not hesitate. So here's my learnings: trade my own thoughts, develop my own system. And that's really what I'm working on, right? That's the whole journey. It's what I'm documenting so that I can always go back and look at it. I'm keeping track of a trade journal, as you can see. I need to get better at tracking the trade journal, but I'm definitely over trading today, and not all my trades were in here. Yesterday, like you guys saw, was so much better emotionally, so much better results-wise. I need to learn to really control myself. So, and then it wasn't over. This was kind of me typing in the middle. Basically, inverse head and shoulders. So you can see kind of this down, up, down. Did I draw it on the next picture? Not quite. So down, up, further down, back up, back down to that same level. So this is the neckline. So right now we're breaking above the neckline. Chart pattern-wise, that should tell you it should go higher. Immediate emotional regret as the next candle was red down, sell high, buy low, very bad strategy, got stopped out. So that was super unfortunate. And then these are the setups I should be looking for, kind of coming into, value area low for the day. And this also, I believe, coincided with another supply zone or demand zone, and pushing up. So I got in here, I got out here for a nice 22-point jump, I believe it was. And then there's a huge shooting star candle, which is this right here on the next trade. And so I got in a little late, basically got in here, but waited for the down push, told myself I'd wait the whole candle, got out with a minute left on the 15-minute chart, because it's a 15-minute chart. So this candle is basically signifying we pushed up, couldn't hold, opened, pushed up, couldn't hold, and then came over here, pushed up even less. So now we're making a new lower high and a new lower low, so we're probably on the way down. So that's what I kind of got. I shorted here, bought here, so I did end up with a good trade. But the lesson here was do not move your stop loss. This continued straight down for quite some time, so I could have made plenty more. So that was Thursday, and Thursday was my worst day ever. I was down $387 and some odd cents, which really sucked. It was not a pleasant day. And when the end of the day, when I used to play poker professionally, there were days where I would have really heavy losing, but I thought like my expected value, if you know what EV is, my expected value would be up, and it'd be like you should have won $2,000 based on the hands where you were all in, but instead I would lose $2,000, and that's variance, and that's going to happen. But those days would definitely cause some emotional angst after the day was over. I definitely felt that again here, and need to kind of learn to figure out, hey, it's fine, and really control that emotion. So just putting everything out there for what my journey is and kind of sharing it so that if you're watching this and you learn from it, fantastic. Throw a comment in and say you learned something, or you think I'm a horrible trader, or whatever you want to put. And I'll just agree with you on that second account, at least right now. But I'm definitely getting better. I'm learning a lot. So let's come back up and review Friday. Let's bump in the Zoom here. So Friday took two very small trades this morning before the market opened. There was news at 6:30 Mountain Time, so that's an hour before the market actually opens. Both were small winners. One of the really unfortunate things of the day was there was a huge, let me see, I have a picture of it. Yep, this candle right here. So I had a buy-in, and I had my stop loss at 38.14, which is right here. You can see this trade. I bought right here, and I got stopped out right here. This candle, there we go. You can see the whole candle. This entire candle, the bottom of this candle was like 38.10 or something. The top of this candle was like 38.73. My target profit was like at 38.68, I think, and I got stopped out, and this candle literally went flick, 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 and it was that fast when the news hit. The unfortunate part is I'm trading the micro. On the mini, I would not have gotten stopped out, so it would have caught my trade up here, and I would have caught a 50-point rip in like what amounts to be, a few seconds. So that really kind of sucked. Started the day off with like oh man, that's a bummer. And this was a higher risk setup, but I was pretty confident in my stop. But if I just would have had my stop like at 3,800 or 3,805, which there was a level that was a demand zone at that point, which probably would have been a smart thing to do, put it a few points inside or at the bottom of that demand zone if you want to take this high risk. And then I catch a 50-point ripper very, very quickly. So that sucked. Anyway, then I got in on a 17-point upside after the news, which that must be from I don't know what that one is. This is NASDAQ. So I should have shorted the bounce right at 38.76, which is right off my supply zone, but for some reason I didn't. Hard to get out of one long into a short maybe, because I basically longed up into 17-point winner, and then I was like, do I just turn around and short? And the answer is yes, if it makes sense and the setup looks good. Traded NASDAQ for one trade. Obviously, again, I'm trading poorly here. Boom, I have not been trading NASDAQ. I've mostly been trading the S&P 500 futures index, obviously. So this sucked. It was basically every 862, 863 down to 837. So definitely not a good way to start when you're trading in the NASDAQ. Now in a trade after it bounced off supply again at 38.20, which that should say demand, not supply. But I got in a little late, so I got in here. So we came down, we bounced. I should have seen the rejection, should have been watching. Should have gotten in here, and instead I'm in here. You can see what's happening. Got in a little late, so just waiting, and then ended up got out. Wanted to be out before the news, otherwise I would have let it ride. There's news in 4 minutes, and then turns out, I should have just let it run up to 38.88, which is where it's at now. So that really sucked. You can see I got in here at 38.37-ish, which is not even in this picture. So could have gotten way up, and then I got in again and basically shorted, and then shorted again as it was hitting this supply, and I should have just listened when it was here. I should have taken fast profit right here and not gotten in again, because I basically stopped out of both of those as we hit the top of the supply zone, which really kind of sucked, because I got in once, then I got in another time thinking, well, we're coming back down. So that is just obviously silly. But you can see down here where I got in after we bounced off that demand zone right here. Here's where I got out. Here's where I could have gotten out. So, I mean, I'm missing 38.45 to 38.75. So I'm missing a full 40-point upswing. That's $200. So $5 for every point. So $200 makes a huge difference when you're trading one micro. And I should have obviously, before I got in these shorts, I should have obviously looked at the larger chart pattern. So we have another inverse head and shoulders, down, up, down, bigger down, kind of looks like an upside down mountain range. And basically this is the neckline. And when we come above that neckline, we're probably going to continue upwards. And obviously you need to wait for confirmation. That one chart pattern by itself is not going to be enough. But if I would have looked at this chart pattern, there's no way I'm going to short here, because the chart pattern is saying, hey, we're going to break through. I need to wait for confirmation when we hit the supply zone. I don't need to be getting in before we get there because I see a little downturn on this candle. I need to actually wait, see the rejection, and then get in. So that was pretty bad. But again, this is a learning opportunity. So, this few dollars doesn't really cost me. I'm just paying for some education. And then I also should have just combined the fib with my other thoughts. And that would have been great, because you can basically see here, we come back down below the 50 and we come right up to the 23.6%, or negative 23.6 in this case. So that would have been a fantastic trade. We hit the 50. I buy right here. This should have been very obvious. This is that buy that I already talked about where I could have let it ride. Skip all these other stupid trades, right? I don't make this short. I don't make this short. I don't lose. I don't make this short. I don't lose. So I get in here, I wait for it to ride up, even if I take profit at zero, right? I should be watching this for some form of rejection. And when it starts to reject, or even if I hit 23.6, be like, hey, we're at the bottom of this new supply. So I'm out. So I definitely could have done that. Next trade, my entry timing's awful, but I have stuck to my stop. So I got in here in a long, and this, in some aspects, does not make a lot of sense, but based on what was going on in the market and the ranges we had been in, I felt like we were going to break out of this zone and break to the upside. So I got in here, really terrible, but I decided, screw it, I am done moving my stops, and I decided I was done moving my profit targets as well. We'll see how that went. But essentially what happened was I waited and waited and waited, and we finally came back above, and my profit target was at 39.27. So let's take a look. This is me where I got in. This is where basically we got up to about 39.18, started coming back down, and I was like, screw it. I've ridden this up. I got a nice 12 points out of it. I'm pretty happy with that. And so I moved my target down because I saw this downturn. I saw the rejection off this value area high for the day. And in hindsight, I should have stuck to my exact plan because it literally got to 39. I think my profit target was set at 39.25. I think we hit 39.28 and then it came back down. So if I just would have left it alone, I had my exact things set correctly, and I'm basically missing out on half the profit in the trade that I just took. So that was super unfortunate. Let me grab the results for this day. I think actually I was down. Let me look really quick. Yeah, so I was down $39.84 for the day, and overall, I thought that day, was fine had I just let this one run. Or had I just been smart and paid attention to all the different signs, right? The inverse head and shoulders, Fibonacci, the fact that we're breaking through this and running up. I could have run this trade from 38, 35 or whatever to 39.27. So that's a huge, you're approaching like 90 points. And it did exactly, like this was the great buy, and it did exactly what I expected it to do. I got out too early and I'm not patient enough. So I shall be more patient coming in this week. The market's open again. The futures market opens again in a couple hours. My time zone, in the mountain time zone. So I may make some trades in the overnight trading session. I may not, but I can tell you I need to go chart my zones. I've also been working through Carmine's course, which is excellent. The Discord is excellent. I've made some friends in the Discord, which is awesome, and getting just help, and people are super friendly. So that's been great. I'm looking forward to kind of finishing his supply and demand course, which is kind of helping me. It's what all these zones are that you guys see on my screens. And then other people have started saying, well, this concept from this other teacher applies really well when you add it to the supply and demand zone. So I have a whole bunch more stuff I'd like to go and learn or understand as well, just to continue learning. So trying to cram a bunch of information into my head, but that is really all for today. Sorry I didn't get recaps out each day. I will definitely try and do that. I'll try and catch some live trades as well, maybe tomorrow or on Tuesday, and we will go from there. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Until then, bye for now.